Hello and welcome to the next pod of the Autonomic Mind podcast. I am speaking about something, a question that I have received in my inbox too many times to even consider this week. I mean, like 3 to 4 times. But it was enough that I thought, you know what? I can, and I did, write back to each and every one. But then I thought, I'm going to answer this question for everyone, and then everyone can learn from it, because sometimes you don't even know you're thinking a question or you want to know the answer to the question till someone asks it. That's why I always think, like when I was a tutor, etc., about there's no dumb questions. Obviously, there's dumb people. Obviously, I'm joking. There's no dumb questions. And often, if you're thinking it, other people are thinking it too, and you just need to be the brave soul to put your hand forward and ask it. So here I am. And the question is, why did I leave bedside nursing? Now, this question I think is coming up in people's minds for a few reasons. One of the main ones being that I have my Beyond course, which is currently open for people to invest. It's not yet released. It's going to be released soon, early in the next month, but I'm asking people to invest now and get ready now for when it launches. And it's all about how to leave the bedside. So often people are asking me, they just don't even know where to start. So I'll talk about this, the course, a little more at the end. But for now, I just want to talk to you about the question, which is, why I left the bedside. Now, I'm more than happy to answer it, but one of a more important question is that people need to ask that for themselves. Why do I want to leave the bedside? Will leaving my bedside role be better or worse off for me? Will I be better or worse off? Learning and asking how other people do things, why other people do things is great. Shows a really inquisitive mind. I love it. Always be asking questions. But ultimately, it still needs to be the right decision for you. And what's right for me might not be right for you and your neighbor and so on and so forth. So I decided to leave nursing pretty much, I was still a student. I just knew in my little bones that this sort of rotating shift business is not going to be for me. I hated my boyfriend at the time, who's now my husband. I really didn't like that we didn't have our weekends together when I was doing shift work. The nerves of waiting for the roster to come out to see whether you're working, Easter weekend, any public holidays, Christmas and stuff. Those things I didn't love, and I want to appreciate and recognize for people that specifically like nursing for the ability to work public holidays to earn that extra pay, or people that don't mind working those days because they're not important or a significance to them. That's what I mean. So I didn't want to do those things, but for someone else, that could be the very reason why they love bedside nursing roles. So I really didn't like the rotating shifts, the roster all over the shop, working weekends, working special holidays. It filled me with this dread, and I knew I didn't want to do it. So I was in my grad year, and I spoke to the grad coordinators, and I was actually placed down in a chemotherapy suite, and all of a sudden night shift was done. And weekends only every now and then. So my whole career progression has been slowly taking steps away from bedside nursing to where I am today, which is almost exclusively home-based. I do go in on occasion to some clinics around Australia to help out, as I'm a care coordinator for Australia-wide, but not everywhere. So that was my journey. It was purely because there was this dread upon dread that just didn't sit right with me for bedside nursing. I still can't quite fathom why bedside nursing has to be so, I don't know, rostered in that way. I found it fascinating. I was talking to an American nurse, or I found out that United States of America, from what I understand, is they have like people on permanent days and people on permanent nights. In some regards, that's not a bad idea. You really can get into a routine because it's this shuffling around constantly of mornings, afternoons, nights. It's just all a bit, no, it just wasn't for me. But again, for others, it can. So mine was predominantly for sort of a life design situation, which I didn't even realize or know about the concept of life design. It's something I've come upon in my personal development journey. So I wanted routine. And there is nothing in that to say that because I wanted routine that I couldn't hack it on the ward, because I don't think that's a fair thing. That's where people often go for anyone that wants to do a somewhat more regular journey of with their nursing degree. There's somewhat of a sense upon many, not all, that if you leave the ward, it's because you can't hack it. How about it's because you want something different? And where in different does it say you're unable to do something? I don't believe so. I believe we need people to do the rotating shifts, and it's available for nursing in an like inpatient facility, of course, 24-hour. We need nurses to do it. Luckily, there are many nurses who love to do that sort of nursing, who don't mind the rotating shifts. But I'm here to tell everybody else that it's totally okay. Totally okay. I left. I was a cancer specialist for 13 years. I only did inpatient rotating shift for 6 months of it. Now, what does that? I was able to use my skills and continue to build them far above where I was in an outpatient setting. If I had remained and been stuck and forced in a rotating shift world, I would have left nursing a long time ago. I don't know what I would have been doing, but I just know my degree would have, I don't know, perhaps not been useless is not the right word. It's a science degree. It can take you anywhere, so many places. But I wouldn't have remained with a nurse in my role, because I could not have stayed in a nurse role. I don't think a mindset shift we need to work on as a wonderful community of nurses is that ward nursing is real nursing, and then everything else is just for people that can't hack it. Oh, I mean, imagine the vibe you're saying when you say that to people. If you come across people that are leaving, if you find you can't perhaps control your first thoughts immediately, if you think, oh, they can't hack it, try and catch your second thought and say, you know what, it's not a right lifestyle fit for them. Totally fine. I mean, why is it on you to make judgments on what lifestyles people want to leave? If you are resentful of people leaving and going to find work elsewhere that's not on your ward, it's more of a reflection on you. Perhaps you want the same and you just don't know how to say it. Perhaps you want them to stay because it makes your life better in some way. And then you want your life to be easier, but then you're begrudging others from leaving to try to make their life better. If we all wished and hoped for the best for our colleagues and our patients and our community, what a wonderful world we would live in. Now, I appreciate it can be a bit pie in the sky for some people because they've had years of being a little bit toxic and thinking less of others who want to do something different to them. I fully love that people that really get into ward life. In some regards, I envy them, because apart from the impact on my life that I didn't love it had, my time working on the ward was not all bad. I enjoyed the closeness you could get with patient, doing really sort of intimate care. I don't know if I could have, from an emotional standpoint, again, this is just me, you could be very much different. I found it hard to switch off, and the death stayed with me a long time, and the trauma that I saw, it stuck with me too long. That doesn't mean I can't hack it in nursing, because nursing is too varied to ever make sweeping statements like that. It just meant I needed to use my skills and interest and my desire to care as a professional, because we're not going to bring the nurses as martyrs and just care, and give and give and give. No, I care professionally. I'm a caring professional. So obviously there's a barrier between the care I provide, but I loved being able to care and be with patients, but I didn't want to give more of myself. I didn't want to be less of me because I was giving to others, because then I wouldn't have anything left to give. So I left nursing for life design, and I didn't even know it at the time. I wanted a routine. I wanted weekends off. I wanted to know I had every Christmas off. I left because the current structure in Australian healthcare systems, you work this, you get whatever shifts your NUM allocates. Often you don't get, well, I found you don't get your requests. Obviously, there are good NUMs, and to speaking to a lot, there seem to be some really good NUMs out there. Sadly, not all. So my main reason was lifestyle. I would love to hear why other people have left bedside nursing. It's short and sharp. I hope you are enjoying your work. If you're not, I'd love for you to consider the Beyond Bedside. Now, I almost tripped over my own words. Beyond Bedside is not just about nurses who are unhappy in their area. This is about nursing who want to take their careers beyond the bedside. So they could just love it, but they're at a point where they think, I need a new challenge. So I've been in, say, cardiac for so long, where can I go next? So I've developed this course. It's got 6 modules. I talk about the various reasons why so module 1 is why we leave nursing. I shouldn't have done this now, I've forgotten. Module 1 is why we leave nursing. 2 is about actual over 100 job titles to search. I talk about one of the number 1 things you can do to help your career instead of bedside nursing. I'm not even going to give you the title because it would give it all away, but it's my number 1 trick, which you can do at any level. I also talk about how to prepare your resume when perhaps there's a gap in your knowledge from your bedside nursing skills to what's required in a non-bedside role, about how to fill that in your resume, how to fill that gap in your interview, how to describe yourself, how to resign. And I talk about how then once you're in a new role, how to sort of design your life so you don't fall into the same traps of being unhappy, unfulfilled, feeling dread. Because you can move yourself from one area to another, but it doesn't automatically mean your life is going to be better than it was before. You still need to be doing work to enjoy your work. If you view it as sort of personal development, career design, life design as a burden, it will remain one. But if you think I'm going to allocate myself 10, 15 minutes a week and I'm going to work on this, then when that's done, I'll have learned a new skill. This aspect of my life will feel easier. I'll have this skill to use each week to make my everyday better. How you view professional education, personal development is what you're going to get back from it. If you realize I'm going to do this for 15, so then every other minute of my week is easier, I wonder if that's a payoff for you. And if you think, I mean, there's lots of different ways. There's lots of free stuff on the internet. By far, I found for myself when I started investing in courses, in memberships, that's when I actually started making a difference. That investing in yourself, so you're putting down money, knowing it will come back to you. I put aside time, knowing my time will be freed because I freed up my mental space for more. When you give, it comes back. So you just need to work out where, if you want to invest in yourself, so that investment pays off, so your life is better in the long run. So invest time, invest money, and I'm telling you, in the long run, it all comes back and things are much, much easier. And then, yes, of course. Then the last module within the membership is mindset, about moving from bedside to non-bedside, because it is a bit of a minefield, and there's a lot of stuff which comes with it, predominantly because people say, I can't leave the ward, I can't do that to my family, in quotation marks. And that irks me, because if work is enjoyable and that's been heaped upon you by your work family, say your manager and your colleagues, why why do you think that's an environment you want to remain in? If the manager does X, Y, and Z, staying and sticking it out with your colleagues is not doing yourself a kindness. You can do more for yourself and for your community when you find a work environment which supports you. And if you leave and your work family then isn't, talking to you, don't see them, perhaps they're not the people you thought they were, and you were using a bit of a trauma bond to link with them during a really hard working environment life. Your people will be your people wherever you are. So don't stay for your people. Stay to help yourself so you can continue helping people in the long term to the best of your ability. I've gone off track as always. Love you for being here. As I said, I left bedside nursing because I wanted to be able to design my life in a really predictable and routine way. That was for me. Let me know why you have left bedside nursing, or what you want when you do leave bedside nursing. I'm going to do a post on my Instagram. I'd love to see you. Chat with me. Okay. Love your work. Talk soon.